So support for cognitive independence is really identifying early the limitations in their talents, figuring out what we need to work on and figuring out what their strengths are, making those educational choices to be able to support their talents and work on those limitations. And giving responsibilities early. And I can't emphasize this enough. Again, especially with our kids with disabilities, we get in such a habit of doing things for them. And if they have, especially if they have physical disabilities, and they take more time, I know as a parent, it is easier to do it ourselves. It is easier at some level, but giving those responsibilities early plays into not only that cognitive independence, but that feeling of competence and capability and self-efficacy. So it all kind of comes together. If your child is at a cognitive level where they can't, they're not capable of really understanding where their toys go afterwards, using modified things like color coding baskets and this red goes into this red and this blue goes into this blue. Having baskets that are, their basket on the stairs is the red basket and it has their clothes in it. And when they go upstairs, they have to take their clothes and they have to put them in their room. So that's their red basket. And they know, and you can teach them at any level that is where they need to go. And this is their responsibility to put this away. Family animals, dogs, even if they can't do the whole process of feeding the dogs and doing that, even you put out the food, your job is to put that food on the floor for the dog. That's your job. You're taking care of the dog. You're helping me take care of the dog. Picking out, I don't know why picking out clothes is a big thing for me, but I have so many kids that don't pick out their own clothes. And I don't know why it's that thing, but it's like, let them pick out their own clothes. Even if it's like two different choices that, because again, they can be overwhelmed with choices but giving them that little, is it this one or is it this one? And being able, you can do eye gaze, you can do things to allow them to make those types of choices. Involvement in decision making. We talked about that at the level of autonomy, being prepared for appointments that they go to, attending their ARDS meetings when they're able to, and then talking to them about future plans, talking to them about what their future holds. Promoting the directing of care. This is a huge one for me as well, because I think that we have a lot of our children who will not be physically independent as we talk about it, that they will need caregivers, but that doesn't mean that they can't be independent in directing their caregiver. And they need to be able to communicate their needs. Huge example that I give on this is what really spurred me on thinking about a lot of these things was I used to work with a young woman with cerebral palsy. And at the time, she was probably about 19, 20 years old. And we were coming out of one of the rooms in our center. And anyone who's been there know we have like a big circle. So you just going around the circle, you'll get to where you need to go because it's one way or the other. So we went out of this room and we were going to go into the gym. And so she stopped at the doorway and she said, "Which way should I go?" I said, "It doesn't matter. You can go either way." And she said, "Well, which way should I go?" I said, "It doesn't matter. We're a big circle. You're going to get there eventually. So you can go right, you can go left, whichever." She could not make a decision of which way to go because she had always been pushed from behind and she had always been taken to where she was going to go. And so really teaching our children, our young adults to advocate for themselves and to communicate their needs and to be able to direct the people behind them. You should tell me, I'm pushing you, but I'm at your disposal. You should tell me where you need to go. You should be able to indicate that to me. If you're not comfortable in your chair, tell me that I need to change that. If you need to have that a little bit closer to you because you can't reach it right there, you need to be able to communicate that. Like if you want to be independent, you need to have that relationship with your caregiver. That's a respectful relationship where you can communicate and advocate for yourself in a respectful way. So that's part of that piece as well. And then seeking out that skilled intervention. It may include tutoring, reading specialists, speech pathologists, etc.